Hello, I'm the Angry Spork. While we've mostly looked at the Transformers crossing over with G.I. Joe, they've met up with plenty of other universes. Friendly ponies, people boldly trekking across the stars, wild-haired scientists that make time machines out of malign sedans. The list goes on. But how about superheroes that they once shared a universe with? I'm taking issue with the new Avengers/Transformers, a 2007 tale that involves a more Earth-based villain with a metal face. So let's see if this story makes us want to turn the page, or turn our heads. The cover looks really good. Optimus Prime standing amid what could be a raging fire, with Captain America leaping forward. I don't really have a problem with it, except for Cap's face. For some reason it looks less like he's charging into battle and more like he's annoyed. Like someone wanted to ask him something, but he hadn't had his coffee yet, so he's exceedingly grouchy. Written by Stuart Moore, with art by Tyler Kirkman, Sal Regla, and Annette Kwok, we begin in Latveria, where Cap is lost in thought, probably about the narration mentioning how the engines of war are sometimes necessary, but a dark reflection of our better selves, and can be very difficult to stop once in motion. And that's if you remember to get the oil changed every 3,000 battles. As he's called back to attention, he reminds his four-man super squad that S.H.I.E.L.D. agents risked their lives to slip them into the country to spy on Doom's latest plot. We, the audience, might need to know this, but maybe feels a little condescending to experienced superheroes Luke Cage, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. Just saying. Something I find funny was that a year before this story, the game Marvel Ultimate Alliance was released, which featured most of this lineup as your starter characters to play, except with Thor instead of Luke. And a couple years after this, in 2009, Ultimate Alliance 2 came out, which involved those same three, now with Iron Man, sneaking into Latveria. Either a really weird, expansive coincidence or a mildly interesting intentional choice. As something explodes far behind them, they follow a radiation signal and find a large metal dome structure in the distance, with several wrecked Doombots at their feet, which Spidey thinks means Doom's got some problems of his own. And wait, is that? It is! Ladies and gentlemen, a proportionally accurate moon in a comic book. I never thought I'd see this day. Drink it in, everyone. Cap confers with then-director of S.H.I.E.L.D., Maria Hill, confirming that the dome is the source of the strange readings they picked up, but it doesn't seem to match any tech Doom is known to use. Latveria is also still bombing their neighbor country, Symkaria. When Doom tells kids to keep off his lawn and they don't listen, this happens. Rogers notes that the attacking planes don't look like any he's familiar with, because I guess he keeps up with modern aircraft designs as a hobby or something. Doom has gone dark, and Symkaria will retaliate in 24 hours if the airstrikes don't stop. That sounds awful polite of them. If you keep punching me in the face, I'm totally gonna start fighting back tomorrow. Though it sounds like the mentality of a comic reader still wanting to commit to a title that's gone completely off the rails, but for some reason they keep buying. Something I'll admit I've been guilty of. Spidey asks Cap what kind of weapons Symkaria has. They just joined us in the nuclear club. They've got their membership card, the ball cap, custom windbreaker, and they know the secret handshake. In order to try averting all-out war, they need to get inside the dome and see if there's any connection. Wolvie finds a seam in the exterior, so Luke Cage makes them a door. The captain is none too pleased they did this before he gave the order, so tells them to hang back, shut up, and follow the chain of command, as Spidey leads the way. Logan complains this is the second time he's been told to shut up by Winghead, and a third will mean trouble, a sentiment shared by Luke. Unless there was something before the story itself started, this is the first time he told Logan to shut up. He did tell Parker and Luke to zip it while he called Hill, but more importantly, they are all Avengers, right? And Steve is a storied soldier, so this really shouldn't surprise either of them. I mean, I don't know much about Luke Cage, so I don't know if this is too out of character for him, and I guess Wolvie is just as likely to pragmatically acknowledge Cap's tactical prowess as he is to eschew it in favor of expediency. But if S.H.I.E.L.D. set this up and recruited them specifically, wouldn't it have already been made clear who'd be calling shots in the field? And shortly after they head inside, some cracks are made about ninjas, and Cap again has to tell them to be silent. Then Wolvie pops his claws and tells Steve to lay off the general Patton routine.
I read your book, you magnificent bastard!
Yeah, I wasn't going to use the actual Patton clip, even if I had it. With my luck, Linkara's had the idea to review this too, maybe even this year, which has happened before, and you know he won't pass up that chance. The walls and ceilings start displaying odd geometric mirror images of the group, and we get a recall of the dark reflection comment made earlier. Spider Sense alerts them to a hail of laser blasts, one hitting Cap right in his wing head. All the while, they're being scanned, with someone remarking on their abilities. Maybe it's insulting that Luke is interesting and insufficient, but Wolvie and Cap don't fare much better. However, it's Spidey that seems to be what the mystery voice is looking for, either because of his extreme cellular alteration or his carefree sarcasm about inviting Doom to his place for Xbox. Which is funny because everyone knows Doom is a committed PlayStation gamer, doesn't believe in having more than one company's console. He never shuts up about it. That's why his group always mutes him, and then he sends his Doombots after them. Parker is then tased and caught, I guess, by a passing sedan. Wow, winning a new car on The Price is Right is getting aggressive these days. Wolverine begins clawing through metal until they've made it outside, and Luke lets the stunned Cap take a siesta while he and Logan try to find the webhead. But they find a force field surrounding the dome, which leads Cap to declare he'll need to summon reinforcements because of the mess made by the two amateurs. At this point I asked, if Luke isn't used to covert ops, more of a street-level hero and all that, why is he on the team? Aren't there other super strong Avengers that'd be more receptive to Cap's leadership? And when writing this review, while reading the comic for the first time, I had a few other scathing criticisms of what seemed to me like manufactured tension. Well, here's why you should shelve gut-reactive criticisms. The dispute is watched by the Autobots, with Wheeljack pointing out that the heroes are being affected by a sort of aggression wave, raising their serotonin levels and scrambling their neurotransmitters. But what if they prefer their neurotransmitters over easy? Not only is this making the Avengers more aggressive, it's also responsible for the growing hostilities between Latveria and Symkaria, which could only be the work of Megatron. Apparently, this is a tactic the Decepticons have used before. Incite a planet's population into annihilating itself, then take all the energon, or like energy, it has. And Earth is plenty rich in that regard. The technology to generate the aggression wave, however, is unfamiliar to them, so must have been Earth-made. Despite the previous order to keep a low profile, a nuclear-armed nation-state is only getting angrier, and the cons have essentially fired the first shot, so everyone is ordered to roll out. Except Wheeljack, who will be remaining at the base.
You drive through one Walmart after closing time, and you're paying for it the rest of your life.
Spider-Man wakes up, strapped to a table, and told that full mirror mode will neutralize any superhuman attacks. Megatron introduces himself, rather gloomy-looking too, and explains how a prototype device is reducing affected humans into mindless animals, including the Spider's friends. But the lab is sufficiently shielded so Pete doesn't struggle in rage as he helps the cons achieve their greatest victory yet. As needles close in on Spidey, who responds, "Ruh-roh. I forgot to tell Mary Jane to DVR tonight's Scooby-Doo!" The initial strike team is met by Falcon and Carol Danvers, who at this time is still Miss Marvel. They've been briefed on the situation, and Iron Man was also expected, but he's handling a problem back in the States. Some legal dispute. A guy named Ozzy Osbourne keeps saying he is Iron Man. Logan and Cage are eager to get back in and retrieve their comrade, with Wolvie getting in Falcon's face for trying to ease the tension in the air, which earns him a shield to the face. Apparently, having spent 8 hours on the mission so far, there's 16 left on the clock before Symkaria retaliates. He tells everyone to follow his orders without question when Optimus and his crew arrive, saying the humans need to step back and let the alien robots deal with the problem. Despite Wolverine's incredulity at a talking semi, the Autobots transform. Joined by Bumblebee, Ratchet, Jazz, and Prowl, Prime introduces himself, saying that this war is their burden, raging across the cosmos, and if the heroes value their planet and their lives, they'll leave the area now. So, Prime just ordered the Avengers to leave in such a way that could be interpreted as a threat, after vaguely admitting some level of involvement and/or responsibility in the war, when these humans are under the influence of an aggression-enhancing device. Oh, this is going to end well, I just know it! Sure enough, as narration remarks on how the engines of war can be so loud that all you can do is heed the call, Cap orders the Avengers to attack. But he forgot to specify attack the robots, and the Autobots just watch as they start clobbering each other. This was a pretty good start to the story. The weird animosity was jarring at first, but it gets sufficiently explained. I'd never heard of the Khans using the tactic of turning a planet's inhabitants against themselves, but it's possible that's only a common thing for this story alone. The pacing was good, except that it just didn't feel like the Avengers were in the dome for even close to 8 hours. There seemed to be something of a disconnect toward the end. Prime is aware that Cap and the others are being affected by the aggression wave, so why did he A, speak the way he did, and B, not mention the wave when he approached them? Was the wisdom of the Matrix shorted out or something? And while I'm not a huge follower of Luke Cage, I feel like the guy really needs his mustache. But as the owner of a glorious face mane myself, perhaps I'm a bit biased. Tune in next week to see how this battle goes, before Earth's mightiest snap out of it, and look into sending an apology fruit basket to Cybertron. I'm the Angry Spork, and man, have I got issues.